I found a very popular PSP game for half the price. I made a PSP video about 2 months ago, how I was really getting back into the PSP, and I wanted to do a little video series on it called the PSP Gauntlet. I made a list of 50 PSP games I wanted to add to my collection. It won't be every expensive game, it won't be every game on the system, but 50 PSP games that I personally wanted to add to my collection that I think would make an awesome PSP library. And the PSP Gauntlet won't end until every game on this list is marked off. And every game marked off this list gets me one step closer. But I did want to expand on this challenge and get recommendations from you guys and maybe make this the PSP Gauntlet Plus. There might be some games I'm just not familiar with or don't even know about, and maybe you can recommend them in the comments and let me know what should I get on the PSP. With that being said, I actually did add some things that weren't on the list, and we'll consider those in the plus range as well. I didn't want to limit myself, but the PSP Gauntlet is curated off that 50 games that I had put together. And until those 50 games are marked off, the PSP Gauntlet lives on. Speaking of impulse games, let's take a look at the first game I picked up. Thrillville. Honestly, Thrillville is one of those games that kind of just screams early 2000s. Building theme parks and riding your own roller coaster rides and playing a bunch of mini arcade style mini games is pretty fun. It's one of those games that's easy to sit down, play it for about 30 minutes to an hour, and have a nice relaxing time with it. This definitely was an impulse buy that I got at a antique shop, and if it wasn't for a really cheap price tag, I probably wouldn't have picked it up. But glad to add it nonetheless. Speaking of that same exact antique shop, I did find me a Lego's Indiana Jones, another impulse buy, but the story doesn't go how I really wanted it to. Now, I do love me some Lego games, and these weren't actually on the list. I kind of forgot about putting some Lego games on the PSP Gauntlet list, so it goes into the plus category. I picked up the game for about $7, complete in box, at least that's what the sticker said. Get all the way home, and that was my mistake. I went all the way home, not realizing, not inspecting it, because the game is taped up at this antique store. They usually put tape on all the games for theft reasons, and I get that. But I should have checked it in the parking lot because there was no game in the case. It was empty. So luckily, this is an overall cheap game. The problem is I paid $7. I rather would have paid $7 for complete in box. Now I'm going to probably pay another $7 to $10 just to get the game loose. So I'll see what I can do. Sadly, all sales are final at this antique store, so I wasn't able to do anything about it. But we have a case, just gotta get the game. Now, something that was on the list was ATV Off-Road Fury Blazing Trails. I grew up with just playing the ATV Off-Road series, and I'm not like super into motocross or four-wheelers and stuff, but I like these games a lot. Now, I've always liked racing games in a handheld format because it's a quick, easy pick up, play for a little bit, and sometimes life only allows a quick little gaming session, so these games are perfect for that. Also, it's another game that kind of screams early 2000s with the music. Just saying. But nonetheless, this is one game that's packed full of content to my surprise, and glad to add it to the shelf. One game I got super excited to add to the collection was a pretty special one for me because it was one of the first PSP games that I ever owned growing up, and that is Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron. Now, I did not put myself rules when it came to the PSP because I thought it was going to be hard enough to find PSP games, so I'm going for greatest hits, black label, it doesn't matter. It's always cool getting games that I used to have growing up back as a kid. Those are the ones that turn out to like mean the most into my collection because there's like nostalgia memory behind it. But this one actually classifies as the plus category because it was an impulse buy. I actually only had Star Wars Battlefront 2 on the list, but I totally forgot that I owned both of them as a kid. So Star Wars Battlefront Renegade Squadron, glad to add you. Now I just gotta find me a Battlefront 2. Also, don't sleep on Second and Charles. I'm finding a lot of classic games adding to my collection are coming from Second and Charles. If you have one in your area, check it out. But switching gears, I did revert to eBay for these next two titles. One I am very happy to get, and it seems like it might be shooting up in price just a little bit, and that is Family Guy, the video game on PSP. Now, I do own this on the PS2, but I wanted to get it for the PSP as well because Family Guy I've had a lot of nostalgia for. I've made a video about specifically Family Guy, and I wanted to have it on the go as well. Well, price charting has it listed complete in box for about $30-ish, which I find to be very inaccurate, or at least not up to date. This game kind of ranges all over the place. Yes, there is copies selling for 30-ish here and there, but I'm also seeing copies selling for upwards to $50, $60. So I was actually able to find this on eBay for roughly $40-ish. Was one of the things I wanted to get for the PSP collection. Now, I know it's not the best game in the world, but I have a lot of nostalgia behind it, and I thoroughly enjoy playing all the Family Guy games. So, not mad at it. Usually I don't try to pay up for that much for something like this, but I did. So just being transparent with everybody. All the copies that I did see out in the wild, either loose, which I don't usually buy loose at all, or really beat up, like not playable beat up. So that's why I went the eBay route, and I'm not mad about it because ultimately I'm happy. So that's all that really matters. But this next game I also got on eBay, and I'm pretty stoked on it, and that is Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles. I honestly think that the Castlevania Dracula X Chronicles is a staple in any PSP collection, but you're not only getting a remake of Rondo of Blood, you're also getting the original Rondo of Blood as well as Symphony of the Night. And Symphony of the Night can catch a fair price, so happy to own it in this format. You're basically getting 3 incredible Castlevania games all packed in on one UMD. Even though these are 3 amazing games, my favorite, still Super Castlevania. What's your favorite Castlevania game? Let me know in the comments below. But before we get into that last PSP game that I got for a pretty good deal at a local retro store, there's also a side quest to the PSP Gauntlet Plus. Many branches to this series, but that is PSP UMD Movies. Whenever I run across a PSP UMD movie, if it looks good and it has a good price point on it, I'm probably going to pick it up. It's the novelty of it. There's no real reason behind it. There's no set goals to the side quest. I just want to curate a shelf full of PSP movies because I just think it's fun. And they're really cheap. Wow. Usually, like brand new PSP UMDs are like crazy cheap when it comes to movies and TV shows. First actual movie I added to the collection was Tron. Tron is such a classic 80s film. If you have not watched it, you definitely should. Probably not on a PSP for the first time, but maybe another form of streaming, like a Blu-ray 4K. I don't even know if they even made a 4K of it yet, but if they do, go watch it in the best format because it is an amazing movie. But the first TV show I got on PSP was Rob and Big. I missed the Rob and Big TV show. I absolutely loved it growing up and still find myself watching it to this day. And it was brand new and sealed as well for $9. You can get a lot of these UMD movies for like stupid cheap, and they're brand new and sealed. Like, why not? But speaking of MTV, I also picked up Viva La Bam Volume 4. It was also brand new. It was super cheap as well. I think I paid $8 for that. And I don't know, it was kind of an impulse buy on that one because I technically already own all of Viva La Bam on DVD, and I don't really have another reason to buy it, but it's fun, and that's why I bought it. And I will continue to buy these things just to add to the shelf. I just think they're a fun format to have. It's a fun little side quest. There's no real end goal here. It's just having fun while collecting for the PSP. Then probably my favorite pickup of this batch would be God of War Ghost of Sparta. Now, I got this at my local retro store. They had a great deal on it. It was only going for $38.99 when this game has definitely reached around the $60, $70, shoot, maybe even $80 range. And I got it for like half price for eBay listings, so I'm very happy of that. Now, I'm not sure if this has been sitting on their shelf for a while and maybe they lowered the prices of it, but I'm happy to pick it up but yes, it was one of those games that were on my list. I wasn't sure if I was going to find a good deal on it, but I'm glad to find it for at least half the price of what it's going for online. And complete in box. Not mad at it. And the discs look pretty flawless, to be honest. So to get one of the games that's probably considered one of the best games on the PSP for half off, I'm taking it. So let's see where we stand for the PSP Gauntlet so far. Now, we already have 3 games in the PSP Gauntlet physical collection. That being God of War, Chains of Olympus, Grand Theft Auto, Liberty City Stories, and Wipeout Pure. These 3 games were added into the PSP Gauntlet when my first video came out. But to recap what we have in the PSP Gauntlet physical games, we are currently sitting at 7 off the list out of 50. For the Plus section, we have 2 games in the Plus section, because I can't count the Indiana Jones case only. So once I get that, we will have that at 3. And as far as the side quest, we're currently sitting at 3 UMD movies. But we have a long way till we hit that 50 goal in the PSP Gauntlet. So if you do have recommendations for the Plus section, let me know. What should I add to my PSP collection that maybe I'm not aware of? Maybe it's a great game and I just never seen it before. Let me know in the comments below. My name's Cameron. This is Retro Carnage. Peace.